Hello again and welcome to your practice. Today's session with a special focus on the hips and the lower back, but overall a feel-good session for the joints. So we'll spend some time also in the shoulders and in the wrists and hands. And above all, really setting an intention for today's practice to tune inwards, to listen to your body, and honor what you feel. So please come to a comfortable resting position on your back. Oh, and you might see I have a couple of props here. This is a roll, a foam roller, but you could use a block. And we're just going to use that as one option to add a little bit of height or a little bit of support under the body for bridge pose. And if you have a belt or a strap, or even a long towel, anything you could use to extend your reach a little bit, you may want to have that as well, but none of those things are necessary. So just come down onto your back, and you can start with your feet on the floor, your knees bent, facing up, and let your whole back, the whole upper body, rest down into the ground. Notice especially how you feel in your lower back and in your hips. And with every exhalation, see if there's any tension you can release. Today's class will also have a focus on breathing. We'll do a little bit of pranayama, breathing exercises. But for now, see if you can just notice your natural breath. Always breathing in through the nose whenever possible. And if it feels easy and smooth, release the breath out the nose, gentle and complete. Noticing the flow of the breath as it moves in through the nose, past your vocal cords and throat, and down into the lungs, upper, middle, even into the lowest part of your abdomen. And on your exhale, following that path of breath back out the body, same way it came in, breathing always all of the way out. And if it felt good, if it helped you release a little bit more tension, you could also exhale with a sigh and breathe out the mouth. Making a sound with your breath is also one of the ways that helps the body let go of tension and fatigue, helping you restore and return to your natural, harmonious state. Now, if your low back feels good, you might want to try extending your legs out one at a time. And again, notice your whole body lying here on the floor. And as you exhale, allow your whole body to settle down a little more. Let your shoulders be heavy. The back of the head resting on the ground. Notice the length of your spine and all of the places where your body meets the ground. It's actually a very interesting space, a kind of plane for the body, that area that is neither on your body nor on the floor, but a thin plane in between, this contact zone, or many different contact points See if as you exhale, you can rest down into that contact plane a little more. With your exhale, the front body, your chest, the upper parts of your legs, settling down into the support of your back body and the earth. And feel free to close your eyes if you like. And then bring your attention to your breathing again and follow the rise and fall of your natural breath. At the end of your exhale, you might want to squeeze your belly in, pull the navel into the body to get the last air out. And then when you're ready, slowly start to deepen your breath, taking your time. With every exhale, a gentle, full release. With every inhale, lengthening and deepening. With every exhale, softening, stretching the breath, and releasing all the way. So in this way, you're just going to gradually come to your fullest, comfortable breathing rhythm. You should feel quite a lot of movement, expansion through the breath, and maybe add a gentle pause at the top. And then as you exhale, release the breath out smoothly, quietly, very soft, letting all of that old air out. Once you've come to your maximum comfortable breathing rhythm, simply stay here for the next 5 long, full, and unrushed breaths. At the end of your next complete exhale, simply return to your natural breathing. Take a moment here before we start moving to scan your body again. I'm taking an internal selfie, this moment, in this place, and just tuning in to any sensations, any observations that you might not have noticed before. And then as you're ready, slowly starting to move the body and wake it up with small movements that just spontaneously get bigger when you're ready. If you like, you can reach your arms overhead and down on the ground. Reach your legs away from you for a big stretch. Reaching out from your center, lengthening your waist. And exhale, releasing and bending the knees. You're going to grab the legs and hug them into your chest or into the belly. Try to keep your lower back long and resting to the ground. And also make some ankle rolls here in parallel or in opposite. I'm going to go ahead and roll on your back a little bit to massage the back. Seeing if you already notice some tender spots, tightness, tension that you can release through this gentle massage. Always a really, really caring practice we can do when we're feeling any kind of discomfort in the back. And you might also want to roll on the back up and down a bit. Be careful not to roll on your neck. Let's see if you can roll through the entire length of your spine and then slow it down. And come back to rest on your back. And then set the feet down on the ground. We'll start with pelvic tilts. So this is like cat and cow pose, which we often do on hands and knees, and we'll come to that a couple of times today. We'll start on the floor with an inhale, arching your back. The belly lifts. And as you exhale, round your back. The lower back pushes down, the belly pulls in. So inhale, the movement starts at the bottom of the spine as your pelvis tilts forward, your tailbone pulls down. And as you exhale, your pelvis tilts back, your tail reaches up like it was stretching for your knees. Keep moving like this, seeing if you can just feel the different articulations, the different spaces in between the vertebrae of your spine. So you're just noticing its length and its curves. We'll do this a couple more times, in rhythm with your breathing. And exhaling. Maybe squeezing the belly in a little bit, if that helps you really push the lower back down into the ground. The next time you exhale, stay there and just notice your back again. So notice especially the lower back resting down against the support of the ground. And there are these subtle curves just above your tail, just behind your neck. We'll start with the legs and the hips, adding a little bit more mobility through our base. So inhale, go ahead and reach for one of your legs. You can grab the outside of the shin or behind the knee. And exhale, you're going to hug one leg into your belly or maybe all the way up to the chest. And inhale, release. Exhale, we'll squeeze the second leg in. Just grab where you can grab easily and give yourself a big hug, strong squeeze, and then inhale to release. We'll keep going like this in rhythm with your breathing. See if you can take a full breath with all of these movements. And again, tuning your awareness again inwards. You might even close your eyes if that helps you focus in a little more. As we squeeze the leg, we can also start to pull the belly in a bit more, stabilizing our center. We're really looking for a feeling of openness, a little release through the top of the leg bone and the joint of the hip. We're going to do this one more time now on the first side. Lengthen your tail away from you as you squeeze the first leg in, and then hold that And on an inhale, we're going to add that core a little bit more. So pull the belly in as you lift your forehead in the direction of the knee and breathe deeply. Stay for 1 or 2 more breaths. On your next inhale, perhaps coming up a little bit more. And then exhale, releasing the leg, release the upper body, and pause. Just notice that. Inhaling naturally. And on your next exhale, reaching for the leg and squeezing and holding it. Pull the belly in, and on an inhale, come up with your forehead in the direction of your knee. But your tailbone is still reaching away from your head. The lower back is nice and long, reaching down into the ground. Take 1 more breath here. And on the inhale, see if you can come up a little bit more. And exhale, softening, releasing completely. Then bring your feet out wide as your mat. The arms can be out wide. You want to have a nice firm connection of the upper back, the back of your shoulders, but also the back of your head on the floor. And then as you exhale, you're going to let the knees fall over together in one direction. And then inhale back to center. And exhale to the other side. And you can also begin to add the head rolling in the opposite direction. Inhale, back to center. And then exhale, back to the first side. We'll just do this a few times, again, in connection with your breathing. Beginning to loosen up the hips a little bit more, and also the lower back. And then when you come to the first side one more time, pause and stay there. So if your knees are moving over to the left side, you're going to focus on your right knee and see if you can reach it away from your head a little bit more. So down in the direction of the corner of your mat, far corner. Now really try to reach that knee long away from you, more than you are trying to force it down. So really lengthening the tissues of the upper leg. And if you like, you could grab the opposite foot and just rest it gently on the outside of the knee. Again, this is not about forcing. This may help you feel like you can extend that leg a little bit longer. And take another breath. If the foot is on the outside of the knee, release the foot and then inhale back up to the center. And when you're ready, exhale to the second side. So this is about reaching the opposite leg from the side you are twisting to. If you're twisting to the right, focus on your left knee and the left upper leg and see if you can energetically extend that knee away from your head and extend your breathing a little easier. You already notice a strong sensation there with your attention in the knee and the length of your thigh. Stay with that and breathe deeply. And it might help you get a little bit more awareness, a little more feeling by adding that outside of the foot resting on the outside of your upper leg, just behind the knee. Again, see if you use that leverage to lengthen a little bit more, looking in any direction that feels good. Really do not cause yourself any pain. Try not to overdo it, over trying. It's not going to help. Just take one more breath there. Release the foot on an exhale and inhale back up to center. And give that a feel. Feel free at any time to pause and just tune in again to your body. Give yourself what you need. Maybe that's a hug. Maybe that's a little bit more movement. So we're going to add a little bit more work now with the legs, a little bit of strengthening and lengthening. You might want the strap for this, but you don't need it. So if you don't have a strap, just lift that first leg up. And the upper leg is going to be 90 degrees to the floor. So as vertical as you can, but you can always bend your knee. That will also ease your lower back. Try to lengthen the leg as much as you can, no matter how much you bend it. And then you can just reach for the back of the upper leg, wherever you can grab it. Interlace your fingers. And as we lengthen the leg, we're going to push the leg into the hands. Keep your shoulders heavy on the ground. If you have something to extend your reach, like a towel or a belt, put that on the bottom of your foot right below the toes. So it's the balls of the foot that we're going to work with here, not really the middle and not the heel. By putting the support there at the top of the foot, just under the toes, we can spread the toes and lengthen the whole leg. Imagine your leg was like a fire hose. And liquid energy is flowing up the whole length of your leg as you breathe deeply here. And exhale, see if there's any excess doing in your pose. Maybe you've strained in your upper body. Maybe you can relax your shoulders a little heavier. If you're grabbing something, try not to grab it too hard. Don't force this. So let's take one more breath here through the length of that lifted leg, spreading your toes, and then exhale, release. You might find a big difference between the first side and the second. Really useful to notice that. That's really what today's class is about, by being in the body, experiencing that, feeling it, and bringing our attention with our breathing to what we feel. You're actually helping your body restore its balance, its German Stoffwechsel, where it always is exchanging and changing things, metabolizing to keep you in that harmonious, healthy structure. So, on the second side, you might find a big difference, and that's okay. If you notice that, you're actually empowering yourself at the subtlest levels to help your body even things out. So try to keep that upper leg as vertical as you can and spread your toes as you lengthen the whole leg. So you're reaching the bottom of the foot up, even as you reach your whole leg away from you, into the hand or into that strap, into your extra support. And see if you can let the whole leg also be relaxed. Even though we're activating it, let the head of the leg bone be nice and heavy in the direction of the floor, even as you reach the bottom of your foot up a little bit more. Nice isometric tension within the leg. Isometric stretch. And then on an exhale, soften and release. And just take another mental observation, scanning for what you can observe. Good stuff. Okay, we're going to add one more stretch here for the hips before we come up and get moving a bit more. So this is kind of like pigeon pose when we do it from an upward position, but we're doing it here on the floor by lifting one leg. I'll show you from both sides. And then hooking the leg on the outside of your standing leg. So you flex the foot here, and the outside of the foot will grab again the outside of that standing leg. Now you've got an open space between your legs. As you begin to bring your standing supporting leg into the body, you can grab behind the thigh, under the knee, or maybe on the outside of the shin, just below the knee. Now, wherever you reach, again, see if you can take it a little easier through the upper body. So your arms are here not to force, but just for a little bit of feedback, a little bit of leverage. Your shoulders resting down into the ground as you squeeze that lifted leg into the body. Reach your opposite knee away from you. So the lifted, the bent, the kind of number 4 shaped leg is reaching away from your body while you pull your supporting leg a little bit more in. What we're looking for here is actually a really strong opener in the outer hip. So if you're feeling a lot of sensation, see if you can send a little bit more of the energy of your breath there. Where our attention goes, our energy follows. And then see if you can use that awareness to soften any extra holding, any hardness, any tension you don't need. One last breath, and then release. And maybe pausing in a neutral position to just observe. When you're ready, second side, we flex the foot. That's going to help you engage the foot on the outside of the leg. And then you begin to bring your supporting leg in as you grab for a place that you can hold without difficulty. And the work here is going to come from engaging this bent number 4 shaped leg away from your body. That knee moving away from your shoulders, even as you pull your belly in and lengthen your tail away from the head. If you can spread your toes again a little bit more. And notice the breath. Looking for smooth waves of balanced breathing here. If you find at any time your breathing has become forced or difficult in any way, you might be doing a little too much. Just back off a bit, take it a little easier, or even take a little rest. Let's take one more breath wherever you are. And exhale, release. Nice. Hugging the legs into the body and maybe rolling or just moving the knees with your hands in a couple circles. Then we're going to come to hands and knees. So you can do that through a rolling action. Try to use that connection to your center. We use a little bit more strength and a little less momentum. Or simply roll to your side. And then help yourself up into hands and knees. Hands and knees pose, where your shoulders are over the wrists. Your hips directly above the knees at first. And your feet, you might today start with them flexed. So your toes are reaching down into the ground. Inhale and arch the back again. We're in cow pose. Look up. And then as you exhale, round the back, you might also add the feet, pointing your toes away from you as you lengthen the whole back. As you inhale, you can arch the back and stretch the arches of the feet a little bit. And then as you exhale, round the back. Get really long, pull the belly in. As you inhale, your tailbone is reaching back and up as you look up. And then as you exhale, your tailbone is pulling down in between your knees, looking between your legs, or maybe even to the belly. Do that 1 or 2 more times. Maybe again, closing your eyes when you're in a very stable position, if that helps you tune in a little more. Noticing how this movement affects the breath, changing the space and the feeling inside of you. Great stuff. And then coming at the end of your next exhale to a neutral position. Let's get one more twist in before we really start to warm up the whole body and then focus on the hips and legs. I'm going to take a little twist here by lifting the right arm up. You can look up, and then you'll exhale and bring that right arm underneath the left until you can bring the right shoulder and the right side of the head to the floor, or maybe just in the direction of the floor. Now your hips have often scooted over to the left when we twist to the left. So notice where they are and maybe just inch them, engage them a little bit more to the right. Try to hold them in a neutral position, hips over the knees. You could walk your knees back a little bit, away from your head, if that helps feel a little easier in your lower back. Breathe deep here. And exhale. Nice. One of my favorite poses to help with transitions. Anytime when I've been doing a lot of the same thing, if that's sitting or standing, even other kinds of repetitive actions. This can be a nice, gentle way to release some of that. And then when you're ready, we'll engage the center to come back up. Pull the belly in, open up, and exhale back to hands and knees. And notice that. When you're ready, second side, inhale the left arm up, maybe looking up, and exhale the left arm underneath the right, and coming down to or towards the floor with the outside of the shoulder, the side of your head. Notice your hips. Engage them back to the center. And then bring your attention to your breath. See if you can really breathe into your twisted side and the side body generally. Noticing the space in between the ribs as it expands on your inhales. And as you exhale, see if you can soften any hardness that you find. Peeling back layers of tension. Take one more breath here in your twist. And then as you're ready, with an inhale, engage the center, lifting that first arm, looking up. And then exhale back to hands and knees. Great stuff. Okay, now engage your feet. And then we're just going to inhale and lift the knees, keeping the shoulders over the hips. Shoulders over the wrists. And your knees are lifted to about the height of your ankles. If you want to look back, check that. We're going to take 3 or maybe 4 smooth, unrushed breaths here. If this is bothering your feet, you get a cramp, you could also do this same thing with the toes pointed. And just lift the knees as you pull the belly in. You take this version, you might want to round the back a little bit more. Pull the belly in a little bit more. Let's take 2 more breaths. Nice. At the end of your next exhale, come back down. Neutral spine on hands and knees. Now we're going to do a little bit more for the wrists before we get into more weight. Turn your hands out so your middle finger is now reaching at about 9 and 3 o'clock. We'll do a couple of cat and cows again. See how that feels? Your middle finger in the middle of your hand, and then see if you can spread all of your other fingers as wide as you can. If that feels like a lot, you might want to just stay there. And if you want to open the wrist a little bit more, we turn the middle finger to face back towards your knees. So at about 6 o'clock. Again, the shoulders over the wrists. And we'll take a couple cat and cows. Be very attentive here. Move mindfully and slowly. Again, honoring what you're feeling. Noticing your breath. For a little bit more, sit your hips back a little bit more. For a little bit more ease, you can walk the knees a little bit more forward. And then slowly unwind the hands. Middle finger now at 12 o'clock. Spread all of your fingers out wide. Tuck your toes and inhale, lift up for downward facing dog. Notice your breath. Notice the length of the back. But let's go ahead and bend the knees a little bit more and see if we can lift the hips up just another degree. And exhale, settling into your downward dog, perhaps with a little bit of movement, bending one leg and stretching the other. Nice. Go ahead and bend both knees, look forward, and then walk, hop, or just step forward, forward bend. Come up halfway, pull the belly in, lengthen your back, and then exhale, fold forward. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Now you can just hang out here with your hands on the floor, bending your legs enough until you can easily touch the floor. Let's try to activate the legs a little bit more. We're going to spread the toes again and reach down through the four corners of your feet. So just like the four corners of your mat. Reaching down as you begin to pull your knees up. But do not lock the knees. So your knees always have a gentle bend here. The legs never 100% straight. But the breath is fully free to flow, full and deep. So we're trying to activate the big muscles, biggest muscles of the body in the upper leg, by energetically pulling the knees up, even as we reach the feet down. Seeing if you can maybe lengthen the spine again, coming halfway up. And then exhale, folding over your legs, so your upper body, maybe the ribs resting on your upper legs. Okay, we're going to come up nice and slow now. So start with your lowest part of the back, resting on the support of your legs. As you inhale, begin to unwind, lifting your back. Let your shoulders, your head and neck be the last thing to come up. Exhale, and settle down. Standing tall at the front of your mat in mountain pose. Again, reaching down through the feet as you lift your heart, chin parallel to the ground. Notice how it feels here in standing. And then again, notice your natural breathing. We're going to take a few fluid movements, a couple sun salutations here, and finish with a couple big stretches for those remaining joints. Inhale, exhale, hands to center. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, bend from the hips, forward bend. Inhale the right leg back, and we'll pause for a breath here. So notice the knee right above the ankle, right in the middle of your foot. Exhale, back to plank. Or plank on your knees. What's more important here than where your knees are is feeling again the length of your back and the shoulders connected to that upper back support. As you exhale, bend your elbows by your side, lower the back down, one line of strength. Point your feet away from you. Bring your hands about underneath your shoulders so that the elbows are by your side, 90-degree bend. Big hands. As you inhale, reach the feet down into the ground. As you pull the belly in, come forward and up. Exhale, let's release that. Inhale, come in again with the belly as you lift your heart forward and up. Let's see if you can relax those shoulders into the back. Release. One more time. Inhale, activate your base. Legs reaching down, that cobra tail down. And we'll breathe here. 3 breaths. You shouldn't even need your hands. I want you to be in a version of a cobra you can hold. You don't need the hands. Use a lot of breath. And see if you can soften the muscles in your face. One more inhale coming up. And then exhale, hands down, push up for downward facing dog. One breath here to even things out. And on an inhale, lift that right leg. Exhale, knee into the chest, step it between your hands, and pause again. If you need to, use your hands to help the foot get forward. As you lengthen the back, turn on your legs. Exhale, step forward, forward bend. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, you can come up with a roll or lower your hips. And with a long back, rise up. Exhale, settle down. Inhale and exhale, hands to your center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward from the hips. Inhale the left leg back, and we pause. This pause is about letting gravity help you adjust, but also using your legs a little bit more to lengthen the back. And then exhale, step that front foot back for plank or plank on your knees. And even if you're very strong in the upper body, you might want to try lowering your knees. See if you can really feel the full integrity of the spine as you lower down one line of strength. Point your toes away from you, elbows by your side. Inhale, come up for cobra. And then exhale, come back down. Let's try this a little differently. Now bring your hands out wide. So the elbow is still above the wrist, above the hand. But inhale, come on forward and up. And then exhale back down. We're going to do this a 3rd time and stay for 3 breaths. Inhale, activate your base down as you pull the belly in and up. And stay, breathe deep. Sometimes I like to reach my tail down a little bit more, but wiggle my upper body, kind of like that cobra. Right? Twist a bit, turn a bit, or just find your center. One last breath here, perhaps you can reach up a little more. And then exhale, release. Hands underneath your shoulders, elbows by your side. You can come via hands and knees, or just lift the hips for downward dog. Find your breath, find your ease. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it forward as lightly as you can. So the knee again, right above the ankle. In the middle of the middle line of the foot. On your next exhale, step it forward. Inhale, halfway up, belly in, tail back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale with one breath, rising up. Exhale, settle down. We're going to do that same flow, but now connecting each movement with the breath, or rather one breath, one movement. So as you inhale, lengthen, open. Exhale, soften, release. Inhale the right leg, and exhale the left. You can hold the breath here or take a breath in plank. And as you exhale, lower down, chaturanga, release. Inhale, bhujangasana. Exhale. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, right leading. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, finding a little ease. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, settle down. In and out. Inhale, strong legs, long back. Exhale, a little more ease. Inhale, the left leg leading. And exhale, the right leg follows. At the end of the exhale, chaturanga, release. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it forward, nice and quiet. Inhale, we lengthen the back. And exhale, soften. Inhale, rising. And exhale, quieting and arriving. So, just arrive here in your standing mountain. And take another moment to check in with the whole body. Noticing how you feel. And take a couple more big stretches for the legs when you're ready. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. I'm going to start with that first side in the mirror here. You can see. Inhale, go ahead and step that first leg back into a low lunge and set the knee down. And come up onto your fingertips, or you might want a block or a couple books stacked so that you can bring that front knee right over the ankle, about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit more. Take another breath. If it's possible, come up onto, with your hands just behind the knees. So we're bringing the spine a little bit more vertical. We're going to get more leverage, so a little bit more opening in that back hip on the front side. Looking for a really deep stretch here, but again, not a lot of strain. Not to force or make it difficult. See if you can use a little more breath. It's the final stretch here. You might bring your arms up into parallel. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Or coming into the full crescent lunge, lifting your arms. Notice the length in the back of your neck. See if you can keep that length. Maybe even as you look up between your hands. Take another breath. Exhale, hands by your foot, and you can come up into down dog. Or just switch the legs, back through hands and knees. Bring that second foot forward. So we have again that 90-degree bend. Knee in the middle line of the foot. Now the back foot can be with the toes engaged or point the toes long. It's really about what feels more comfortable for your knee. You can also always pad the knee a little bit more. Just folding the mat or adding some cushion. We start here on fingertips in this really deep stretch for the psoas, one of the most powerful hip flexors. We start by just feeling and letting gravity do some of the work. If that feels like a lot, stay there or bring the hands behind the knee. You could also bring the hands to the hips or even out wide, if that helps your balance. This is about lifting the upper body and yet letting this leverage, letting gravity also open the hip flexors on the front side of your back hip, back leg. So notice both of your hips there facing forward, shoulders right above the hips. If you like, add the arms. It's a really big stretch. It's okay to take whatever version is working best for you today. Notice the length, the axial extension of your spine, especially the back of the neck, and see if you can keep that as you maybe turn your gaze up between your hands. One more breath. Exhale, hands by your foot. And then reach back. You can come to hands and knees, or one more time into downward facing dog. Good stuff. We're taking one last hip stretch here and add a little twist. Come down to your knees and bring that first leg forward. Knee over the ankle. Back knee might need some cushioning here. And if your right foot is forward, you're going to bring your left hand to the far left side of your mat. Inhale and lengthen the back. And then exhale, we're going to twist the upper body in the direction of that knee. So your heart twisting towards the inside of the knee. And you can bring that other arm up. Notice your neck here. See if you can feel the length equally on all sides. Now, this is a lot, so you might just stay here where you are. But if you wanted a little bit more, you could bend that back knee and maybe reach for the foot. Maybe not. Try not to dig the knee down. We're really on the top side of the knee. This is about using that leverage to get a little bit more opening in that back hip. Also quite a lot of work in that front quad muscle. A gentle back bend, and of course, a nice twist. Let's take one more breath. And then release. Coming back through downward dog, or just hands and knees. And then as you're ready, second side. First, notice what the difference is on this side. Give yourself what you need. Bring that opposite hand to the outside of the mat, and then twist our heart in the direction of that knee. Option to raise the arm. It's a must to feel good in your neck and connect with your breath. Feel free to look in whatever direction helps you do that. Another option is to bend that back knee and reach for the foot. That might or might not feel good in your hip flexors. Notice how it feels in your back. And settle in for 2 more breaths. Exhale, releasing that. We're going to mix it up and step forward. And then open the feet so they're wider than your hips. We're going to lower down. You might want to block some books here. As we lower down to this version of a squat, Malasana. Hands on the floor, where your hips are the height of your knees, and your knees are following your toes. Or maybe you can lower your tailbone all the way down to your block. You're going to want to find a version where you can, again, one more time, feel the entire length and also those curves of your spine. Feel that curve in the lower back, the sacrum, reaching into the body and up. Feel the curve at the back of your neck as you bring your chin parallel to the ground. Option to bring your hands in front of your heart. And tune in one more time to your beautiful, natural breath. Pull the belly in for a little more support as you lift your heart. Exhale, soften, hands back down to the floor. Using a prop, get it out of your way so you can come back down to the ground. And release. Let's roll all the way down. You keep your feet on the ground, toes reaching away from you as you slowly make your way back to your back. And you might want to release through the legs again, through the hips, with some easy movements. Give yourself a hug. Finish with our final pose here, bridge pose. And you also have the option to use the support for this one. This can be a very nice, supportive, even more therapeutic version of bridge. So I invite you to try that if you have that, or if you'd like to. But make sure you set up your foundation. So bring your feet, they're underneath your knees, that you could touch the back of your heel. And then bring your arms by your sides and bend the elbows so the hands are facing in. Feel the connection of the upper back, the back of the shoulders, the back of the head, and the back of the arms on the floor as you inhale and lift up. And with the option to grab that block and put it under you, but please do not turn your head. You don't want to impinge or pinch the neck for a bridge. And if you're going to use some support, then bring it right above your tailbone to the area called the sacrum. So it's not in your mid-back. It's not in the big curve behind your belly. It's closer to your seat than that. Knees still above the heels. And now if you're using that support, allow the whole weight of your back, of your body, to settle down a little more. I'm going to finish with 5 unrushed breaths here. Seeing if we can smooth and balance beautiful waves of breath. As you're ready, engaging your feet down, your shoulders down as you lift your hips a bit, removing your support if you're using it, and then releasing your back one vertebra at a time from the top through the middle, gentle curve in the lower back, and tail down, release. And now let yourself arrive in your final resting pose. That could be right here where you are, modified Shavasana, or maybe even open the legs. You do a lot of work in the hips. You might want to bring your knees together where the weight of your legs can rest on each other. Knees together. You want to bring your shoulder blades also under your back, the back of your head on the ground, your arms out wide by your side, so that there's a little bit of room in between your body and your arm, or your underarms, so that your shoulders can really connect down to the floor. If you feel better in a classic Shavasana, then spread your legs out wide, at least as wide as your hips, and let your feet and toes fall out, releasing a little more. Whatever position feels best for you. Think any of those small movements, any final adjustments you may need. Find a little bit more stillness. Find a little bit more comfort in your pose. Turning your attention back to your physical body. Notice how it feels here and now. And with each exhalation, allow your whole body to rest a little more. Closing your eyes, removing your eyeglasses if you're wearing them, Relax, adding another layer of warmth. It's cold where you are. Every inhalation, bring your attention back to that contact plane between your body and the floor. With every exhalation, allow your body to settle down into that contact a little more. Once you've settled in, found your resting place, and bring your attention back to the rise and fall of your breathing, and rest your full attention on the beautiful expansion and contraction of your breath. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. When you're ready, slowly start to deepen your breathing. Filling the lungs, filling the whole belly, middle of the belly, upper part of the belly, and into the chest. Fill completely, and exhale with a sigh. When you're ready, starting to wake up your body, any small movements that feel nice. Feel free to roll your head to one side and then the other. If you like, you can stretch the whole body again, bringing your legs together, bring your arms overhead and on the floor. On an inhale, reach your belly in as you reach out from your center. Exhale, release. Bend the knees and giving yourself a hug. Before rolling to your right side and resting for a moment, using your lower arm for support. And then when you're ready, use both of your arms and help yourself up into a comfortable seat. Sit in a way where you can lift your spine, lift your heart, and feel good in your seat. And inhale, bring the arms overhead, and exhale, hands to the center of your heart. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your practice, your attention with us today. May your practice benefit you and all those around you. Namaste.